Deputy Speaker. I'd like to start too by paying tribute to my right honourable friend, the member for Chesham and Amersham, and I'm glad that all our thoughts are with her. In my constituency, I'm very fortunate when it comes to autism. I have numerous institutions that are set up, whether those are charitable or whether those are full-time, as it were. And I have a number of individuals who do a lot for taking forward and examining and doing the research in autism. And I'd like to mention two of those to start. The first is, it's through this that I was introduced to a lady called Dame Stephanie Shirley, whose work in this area is quite phenomenal. She has spent a huge amount of her own money in taking forward research in this area, and she is a complete beacon when it comes to providing a focus for dealing with autism and for being able to show us what to do. The second thing that I'd like to mention is a charity called Music for Autism. Now, this charity was set up using the Orchestra of St. John. And the Orchestra of St. John uses music to influence the lives of those with autism. And if you've ever seen them in operation, it is a fantastic experience to see how the members of the orchestra just lap up the opportunity to work with those with autism and to help enrich their lives. And that is a great achievement that I think that has been achieved by that. But there are three areas that I too wanted to concentrate on, and the first one is really to follow the Honourable Member for Cardiff West in commenting on the treatment of those with autism in the justice system. There are three areas of that where it needs to be concentrated on particularly. The first is the police, the second is the courts, and the third, prison staff, if it eventually comes to that. And there are only two things that need to be done in order to take this forward in a very big way. The first is to identify those with autism at a very early stage, because as the Honourable Member mentioned, if you can identify people with autism at an early stage, it helps to make sure that we don't end up in a whole lot of disputes at a later stage. And I'm aware that the courts have put a lot of effort into making sure that the courts are autism friendly when it comes to people appearing before them. I'm aware too of a number of prisons that are supporting people with autism, and I hope that process, which I think is a pilot scheme, will be run out across the prison system, and that we will learn the lessons from that. The second area that I wanted to mention was the issue of education. And a number of people have already mentioned education, but there's a particular aspect of this that I would like to cover. And that is the involvement of people with autism in designing the training for teachers. A number of members have hinted at this, but I don't think anyone has tackled it as boldly as I'm going to do now. And that is to say that I think that the involvement of people with autism in the training of teachers is absolutely essential. There are many ways in which they can provide help and influence on the way in which the training is devised, and all of that will lead to more choice and to pay special attention to the needs of those with autism. And finally, I would just like to comment on the role of autism and jobs. Last year, I was appointed a special envoy for a charity, an autistic charity called SPACE. I'm never very good at acronyms, so I can't remember precisely what SPACE stands for, but it's something like special something or other for those with autism. But the point of it is, I became the envoy for this charity in order to promote the people in this place taking on staff in their office who have autism. And as a way of demonstrating that and showing how this would work, I took on a young man from Hornchurch, as it happened, who had autism. And I took him on enthusiastically, but I have to say that when it came to saying goodbye to him at the end of his period with me, I really regretted that he was going. He'd been an outstanding worker, made an outstanding contribution to my office, and that had been a great experience, not only for him, but especially for me and for my staff. And I do think if we can encourage more of that, we will have a much better way forward for those with autism.